Just because we have survived the treachery of your ancestors, that doesn't mean we've forgotten or forgiven. Count yourself lucky, there are greater enemies. Coming at you from Submarine Studio, it's another episode of Rage Across the Internet. Hey, I'm your host, Porter. To my left, as always, we got producer Joey.
Hey, guys.
And hey, don't call it a comeback. He's been here for days. Danny, what's up, Daniel Tyson?
Days? It's been that long?
It seems like it.
Sorry. Hey, everybody.
Holy shit.
You can lose track of time real quick.
Well, it's good to have you in studio.
Good to be back.
You know, sorry about the mess, in the bedroom last time. We got a little carried away.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, that's permission before we do that again.
I would have appreciated it last time. Don't ask. Much less don't do it.
Well, the goat was insured, so, I mean, that's...
There was a goat?
Oops.
Of course not. So...
Anywho.
Yes.
That's why you left a shovel in my garage.
Okay. All right. So, hey, everybody, we're back again. And a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah.
We just went through a hell of a show meeting, which, sorry, I know you guys so much love it. You know, we cue you in on those, but oh well. So first off, I guess...
Topic for today.
Okay. We still got to jump back, though.
Yeah.
We got some ground to cover.
Okay.
But so, all right, this is the first of the Tribal Series Part 2, I guess.
Redo.
Yeah, I think it's been said on the Facebook, it's been said on our website. What's our website again, Joey?
www.rageacrosstheinternet.com.
.com.
That was creepy,
Yeah.
Danny.
I was just trying to follow suit. Sorry.
I a little bit approve of that, though. Yeah, that is our website, though. RageAcrossTheInternet.com. But it's been mentioned, that we decided to take a new take on the Tribal Series. You guys heard Children of Gaia, and we had another one recorded, and listening to them back to back, it was like these have nothing to do with each other.
We didn't like them.
Yeah.
Not really a series.
No, not if it's just two completely, So we're going to be doing that today. Eventually, I guess, because we got some other shit to cover, but that's okay. I mean, I think first off my list is a big thank you to all of you guys. A couple weeks ago, we had our buddy Chris in, owner of Strange Empire Gaming. We did the links to his GoFundMe to help.
Maddie's Plaza.
That's right. And I'm pleased to announce I heard from him the other day, and he wanted to pass along those thanks because thanks to those donations, he's still open, which would not have been the case without a little intervention. So everyone out there who gave whatever they could, we really appreciate it, and thanks so much.
That's awesome.
Right?
Congratulations to Chris.
It's a game store. It's going to be open because of you guys, and that's a great fucking thing.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Just a game store to stay open is a big deal.
Exactly. What else we got?
Well, we got a few other things. Again, we have a website.
Yes, we do.
We have a website?
We have a website. Our website's up.
I thought we just named something.
I don't pay attention when we talk, honestly. I know the dumb shit that comes out of your mouths. I don't want to hear it.
I also have really bad short-term memory loss.
Who? So.
Anyway.
Is this terrible? Are we airing this?
No. I'll fix it in post.
Oh my God, you probably won't, but you probably should. What an embarrassment. So anyway, we do have the website, and we're pointing that out because it's kind of a big deal. It is to us. We're hoping it's not to you, but we're hoping it will be. We have designs on the future.
And we have a forum on that website.
Yes, we do. Where you can show up, and act like a goon, interact with us, that's fun. We also have a section for submissions. We're talking about how we want to do some book reviews to help people who are shopping for books, some character guides, little essays, alternate takes on stuff, just resources for players, for storytellers. Once upon a time, you could just find that shit on the internet. There were some great places out there that had these great collections of information, and those places don't exist anymore. So,
We're bringing it back?
yeah, we want them to exist, so that's what we're doing. And obviously we can't do that alone, so come to the website, help.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment. Maybe if you have something, in the chamber you want to get out there, something you wrote, you're proud of it, you want to share it there, Yes, Danny?
No, I was just saying we'd love to hear more than just that. Like, the feedback is a huge deal for us, and we need that. But the feedback's not all we want to hear. You guys got anything, let us know. Please.
Yeah, no, it's true. We're all terribly insecure, so we need that feedback.
Tell me I'm doing good.
Tell me you love me. Tell me truly. Now, also,
Collection of assholes.
it's really, really true. And chills at this point, because check this out. On that website, we we have a donate button now, in case you don't like money, because we do.
We'll take it off your hands for you.
We will.
We'll give it a good home.
We will.
Yeah, I could think of plenty. Why
We
you
won't
wouldn't
let
want
Danny
that?
touch any of it. We promise.
Oh, man.
But, if you don't want to give us money, and I get it, what we do have is an Amazon portal. And, if you're a fan of what we do, you want to help us out, that would be a huge deal. It's an extra click, takes you right to Amazon, and whatever you buy, Amazon hands us a little something. It's no extra charge to you. So
You're going to be on Amazon anyway.
right, it's a way you can help us out without actually spending any money or doing anything extra other than a couple extra clicks. And hey, just bookmark it. Just make the click and bookmark it. You don't even have to do an extra click from now on. But it would be a great way to show your support for us with, again, not actually having to do anything that you're not already doing. So it'd mean a lot to us. God, enough shilling. I feel dirty.
Well,
I'm going to go take a shower. Danny, you host from now on. I got to take a shower.
No, don't do
Yes! Oh. I got so excited.
that. You can take a shower after the show. We're not doing that to the poor listeners.
All right, but put the money in the nightstand, goddammit.
You sure? I can still smell them from over here.
I'll get you a nose clip. You'll be fine.
So,
On to the topic of the day.
yeah, is that everything?
If it's not, we'll circle around.
We spent like a half hour talking about shit and nobody wrote anything down, so
Hey, so it's everything for right now.
there you go. So it's our usual modus operandi, really. They're just gonna fucking wing it. And
Hope it turns out.
so, Tribal Series,
Yes.
part
Deuce.
No.
1, take 2.
Okay, so Tribal Series, take Deuce.
Oh, damn.
You drop your own deuces in your own time.
I knew somebody was going to make that comment.
Well, he did it twice. I showed restraint once. What do you want from me? I'm not a machine. Tribal Series, take 2.
Yes.
So that means that we will go back and do Children Guy again with the proper format, but we just fucking did it, so that can wait.
Yeah.
And today is the Wendigo.
Yes.
So to start us out for our cubs out there going, what? The Wendigo is one of the quote Native American tribes. No, actually, getting a little ahead of ourselves, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
See, it was a thing. I knew I forgot something. All right. Something we want to make clear before we actually get started in the meat and potatoes of this. We are a Werewolf the Apocalypse podcast. So we're here to talk about Werewolf and, our thoughts on the game and all that shit. So we will be discussing the fictional tribe of fictional werewolves in the fictional world of darkness. And that is the limit to our scope of the discussion here. We are not going to discuss anything related to the real world or history, or we're discussing fictional werewolves of a fictional tribe in a fictional game, and we're going to have fun.
And fictional history.
And fictional history.
Yeah.
And not even a lot of it.
No. But everything that will be said henceforth will be regarding fictional items that were in a real book.
But a real fiction book.
Yes.
Just, we can't say the word fiction enough. We took bets. But no, really, we want to make that just abundantly clear. You know, we'd hire a skywriter, but
You guys
This
won't
is
see
bad.
it anyway.
right. Fiction.
And the Wendigo tribe of fictional werewolves is...
We're not going to do that the whole time, right?
No.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
God,
No.
thank you.
It's a hot topic. It's
Well, it's a hot
messy.
topic when you mix it with the non-fictional stuff, which is why we're making this little announcement.
Right. So, you know, I mean, we don't want to offend people. That's not what we're here to do.
And we're not making a commentary on anything either way, because I said so in the intro episode, and I fucking meant it.
Yeah.
We have no opinion on anything in the real world. We've never even heard of the real world. All we know is Werewolf.
And Submarine Studios.
And some pop culture shit.
None of which is...
Relevant or even topical,
Yes.
frankly.
Or people care about.
Really, yeah.
Because if you did, why are you listening to this
What a
podcast?
shame we are. But okay, with that out of the way.
Yes.
The Wendigo. So for the Cubs Corner crowd, because they do exist. Mm-hmm. You know, we have a fair amount of people
Yeah.
who are learning about werewolf for the first time from us. Jesus Christ. So the Wendigo are one of the 30 tribes. They are one of the Native American tribes, also known as the Pure Ones. Mm-hmm. They're also known as Little Brother, as there were three Native American tribes. They are fierce warriors. They have a temper.
Understatement.
They are extremely angry.
Yes.
Very angry tribe.
But there's some top tier warriors there.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the super Cubs Cornery version of the Wendigo.
They are also extremely xenophobic.
Yes. They don't like people that aren't them.
Yes. And even the ones that, even the guru that they do like, they really don't like.
Yeah, that's... You can't put it any better than that. I don't like you. I
Yeah.
may need you, but I still don't like you.
It's a strange mix of like, yeah, you're my ally, but I don't like you. It's bizarre.
I'd say there's there's not a lot of moving parts there. They're pretty direct.
Yeah.
Which, there's something to appreciate about that, I suppose. Mm-hmm. You know, the guy who just goes, fuck you. Just, I'm not even gonna bother. Just fuck you. That's my stance. Mm-hmm. There it is, everybody. There's no guile here. Just fuck off. But let's, we all read the revised tribe book.
Yes.
To prep for the episode. You know, it was,
Full disclaimer, I could not finish the revised tribe book. I tried hard. There were a couple phone calls to you where I was like at a 9. I was pretty hot. I couldn't.
You're almost frenzied, huh?
Yeah, it was bad.
yeah, I called an audible earlier in the week with you.
Yeah.
And we swapped you over to Werewolf 20.
which was the right call, because Werewolf 20, I mean, it's just a couple of pages, but it's a lot milder.
It's definitely a tamer one. And that's something, I guess, we can start there, is see the tribe books, there's a narrative that flows through them. Mm-hmm. And at least in the case of chapter 1 of the Wendigo book, the author they chose was maybe, I say the author they chose, but the narrator they chose, because the author chose to write in a voice. Was maybe, I think maybe that wouldn't have been my first choice.
You mean the angry, bitter, drunk uncle at the party who can't stop swearing and insulting people?
Yeah,
might not have been your first choice.
His name is Long Night Moon.
Okay.
And I feel like he probably needed to lay down and possibly a volume. But a volume?
I knew what you meant.
I'm not quite sure what you meant.
I'm gonna own up to that.
Take it,
What came out of
volume.
my mouth?
Just take it.
Jesus.
Take it, run.
No, the Long Night Moon. Yeah, he should have been cut off, I think.
Yeah.
I got very angry, bitter, drunk. Kramer on stand-up kind of vibes. Maybe a drunken Mel Gibson getting pulled over by the cops.
Right.
Kind of thing out of him.
Yes, that's a good one. I like that.
I think, why not Evan Heals the past?
Which would have made a whole lot of sense, being how big of a name that is.
Right. You know,
Right.
he was your intro to second edition.
And, oh, hey, look, he's a Wendigo.
He is a Wendigo. And, you know, and hell, he was in your story in Revised.
Yeah.
You know, granted, is the teacher at this point, which all the better. I think that would have been a better choice. I think it would have made the Wendigo a bit more appealing.
Yeah, this reading as much as I did in the tribe book just made me never want to play one of these.
And see, the funny thing is, I didn't think it was that bad. And maybe that was because you ran so hot about it before. Like, I was really busy over the week, so I didn't get to start my work on the podcast as we get to later in the week. Mm-hmm. So you had already kind of prepped me with how much you hated this book. So maybe my expectations were a little different, but I didn't think it was too bad. I think it was about on par for what I expect out of the Wendigo, and it wasn't out of control. But there that is, you know, different opinions on that.
Yeah, no, I just, and I think it was the narrator, that drunk uncle who's just using slurs and...
Long Night Moon.
Yeah.
Forgot to turn down his volume.
Yes, he needs to turn down his volume. And maybe just deal with that hangover he's got.
Maybe it should have been Good Night Moon. Jesus Christ. What the hell, Danny?
I'm sorry.
What are you
but it wasn't me.
doing over there?
Get it together, Tyson.
Oh, come on. I do want to do a little callback, though. Our introductions episode, Porter had mentioned, that his friend had threw him a book, and he just laughed at him. And that's what changed his life. For those who don't know, because Porter did this to me, too, that book was the story of Evan Heals the Past.
Comic in second edition.
So, for him to show me that, too, made me realize how big of a deal that person was. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and to circle back around, being the narrator would have been Evan Heals the Past would have made so much more damn sense.
It seems like a no-brainer to me. I mean, I get it's not where the author wanted to go, but it's what I would have done. I think it made him a little more relatable. But
Agreed.
But hopping in, let's talk a bit more about the Wendigo. A topic that I'm always eager to talk about is the Impersia.
Well, I mean, can we start by talking about Wendigo itself?
We can.
Because, years ago, I knew that the tribe was called Wendigo, but I didn't understand that Wendigo was their totem.
Yes.
And I didn't understand, again, years ago, that Wendigo was a cannibalistic winter totem. A totem of the cold and the north and all that.
Yeah, he's a big, scary cannibal monster man.
Yeah. So...
Well, that's the thing. Wendigo is their totem. Used to be somebody else. Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite.
Just skip the... All right.
What are we skipping?
Skipping right to totem, all right.
All right, well, we can circle back to the other one.
We came up with this format.
We're making a mess of this format.
All right,
What
time
comes after
out.
the first bullet point? 3? Got it. All right.
It does, just not right after.
I just wanted to explain that Wendigo was their totem and the name of their tribe.
Yes, that is true.
So now what was number 1 bullet point or number 2 bullet point? Because we just jumped right over all
We totally
this.
did. Like, we put this fucking thing together.
So, Danny,
Wailing.
let's follow the format.
All right, sorry.
Let's try to behave. We're going to get our knuckles slapped
Can't
with
make
a
me.
ruler.
You can't make me, and I don't wanna.
I could.
We are overdubbing him with Microsoft Sam,
Okay.
and he's going to say whatever we decide to type
That's
from now on.
a brilliant idea. Okay, but bullet points. Let's do this.
Well, yeah. Start with the... Again, I hate the behind it, but the Vincent history and stuff. So, the Impersium.
Mm-hmm.
Again, for me, it's always a topic I love to start on, and we will be doing that running counter
Yes.
about who has claimed to have saved the world from the Impersium.
Not these guys.
Yeah, shockingly, no, they don't take credit for that. So,
Woohoo!
So, 1 and 1.
right?
Okay. So, what was their role in the Impersium?
Well, that's something that is confusing.
Yeah. Ain't it though?
Yeah, I couldn't get through all of it.
Well,
I skipped.
The timing was super fucking unclear.
I think that's why I had such a hard time. Because it's such a murky mess of a timeline.
Yeah, I mean, we know that the Impersium started. The War Rage happens. The War Rage ends. They go to start the Impersium again. It doesn't work out quite so well. Boom, we get to the Concord. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, that's what we know. That's how that goes.
Yep.
But here's the thing. Weren't they in the New World at that point?
As far as I was aware, they were in the New World. They had crossed the Bering Strait, and they had made it to the Americas.
Right. And so, the two things about that at that point, right, is number one, and we're going to go back to the crossing the Bering Strait later, because I got a nugget on that I need to fucking talk about.
Okay.
But, so they cross with their kinfolk.
Yep.
So who the fuck are they calling? If they're the first people on those shores, and they brought their kinfolk, who are they calling? The book says it was pretty light, it wasn't a big deal. But by saying it's not a big deal, it was a deal.
Right.
It was happening. And, I mean, maybe I'm mistaken, but when I read the book, it seemed to be like in cowboy times, which is so wrong.
That would,
Like
and I didn't
Wild
get that
Wild
impression.
West style?
Yeah.
And we're hundreds of years before that.
You know? And it was just like, that's the only place my brain went, because those were like the people who would have been interacting with them. Like trappers and
But we know that's not the case.
Right, so was it like the Vikings?
But even then, they didn't hang out, so that would be...
It's just...
No, I mean, it's before that.
So, was it their own kinfolk that they were calling? And dear goodness, why?
Or perhaps they moved with more than just their kinfolk. I mean, that would be all I could think of, is that there were more than just their kinfolk. But I mean, they downplay their role in it, which makes sense. Because I would have just assumed, had I not read a thing, that they weren't part of the Impersium at all, that none of the Pure Woods tribes were.
Right.
Because they're on the other side of the world, and it's the same way that no one knows hide or hair of the goddamn bunyip, because in those times they're so fucking far away, they might as well not exist.
Right.
But then that also begs the question, where were they for the Concord? So they weren't part of that either, then.
Yeah, they...
I mean, if you're going by their timeline, no.
It's a little murky, and I'm curious, because it doesn't quite line up if, we were part of the Impersium, except we weren't there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's same with the War Rage, which they didn't really partake in because they were on the other side of the world and they kind of got along by and large.
But they did have the second War of Rage.
Right, but it wasn't really about them either. They were kind of on the other side of that.
Well, and
kind of.
It's one of those that the other tribes were,
Right, that's the second War of Rage, is when the quote wormcomers showed up, and hey, we're starting to make an America happen. So
you got to kill Hall.
Can't be having them best at. We're not in the litter boxes here. Got to kill the best at.
And so they got wrapped up in it because they were...
Well, rock in a hard place.
Yeah, exactly. And, they were, according to the book, they were attacked by the Bastet and the Gurhal, and,
Well, which makes sense because, if I'm Johnny Bears, it's Johnny Bears the Con. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know the difference between a Silverfang and a Wendigo.
Right. It's just a guru.
Right? Who gives a shit? They're killing our people.
Take them down.
Yeah. So, I mean, that makes sense, but just the timing on it just baffles me. And again, the Second War of the Rage is, again, hundreds of years. That's, way later. Now, I did have something else about kind of that early time period, but I want to make sure to open the floor to you guys so I'm not running you guys over.
Oh, no, because there's, like I said, I didn't get through a whole lot of it because it's so murky. So skip on to the next part where I might know a little bit more information.
Is that a lie, Danny?
That's totally
It's not
Is
not that it's a lie.
Is that the page of notes you lost?
That's part of it, yes. It's Yes, part of it. But
I'd rather you admit that you lost the notes than you didn't do the reading, because I know you did the reading.
I did the reading. I'm just,
You lost the
I
notes.
hate reading. And what notes I did have are not with me currently.
Yeah.
But, any of the information I didn't get down or, really didn't understand, I enjoy hearing at least someone else's opinion on it.
No, that's fair. And, I'm only partially sorry for the bus thing that just happened there.
That's fine. I'm, like I said, and it's this, you're the host, I know.
I did the reading.
Yeah, and you read more than I do. You know more than I do.
But honestly, back at the topic of timelines and confusion. And this is another one that I don't, okay, allegedly, according to the revised book, there were spirals on the continent before the pure ones got there.
Oh, yes.
This is a problem for me. And they just gloss over this shit. I mean, they make little jokes. You're like, oh, maybe they swam, right? And this is, part of the thing I was talking about, where maybe we're getting a little crazy with it. We're going to say some crazy fucking things that maybe will provoke some thought or whatever.
Or just provoke.
Yes.
Oh, I can do that. But, that said, what if the White Howlers weren't the first Garou to dance the spiral? We accept the narrative that the White Howlers, in whichever version of this you're reading, either called for help and didn't get help, or saw a hole that went down to Malphus, like, fuck it, let's do it. Whichever version you're going to read, but they went down, they went to these tunnels, they went too far, they found the Temple Obscura, they danced the spiral, they came up, the first Black Spiral dancers. But, again...
That was in Scotland.
Yes, it was.
I was going to say that. I thought there was not.
How did they get to the Americas before the Wendigo?
Crossed the Bering Strait, yes.
Whoa. My head just exploded.
We just hurt Danny.
I mean, that shit happened in, what was it, 255 AD?
Yeah. And there are black spirals on the continent.
Before the pure ones got there.
Yes.
Now, I don't know, because what year the Bering Strait was crossed, and that I don't know that. It's knowledge I don't have. Mm-hmm. But 255 AD, that number is possibly wrong, but etched in my goddamn brain. That's a big year for spiraling, if you will. it's an important time. So how were they there first? So I'm thinking, what if there were Garou there before? You hear the Wendigo tell it. They get over there, they cross it. And it wasn't that this was a paradise and everything was great. They're like, shit was kind of messy when we got there.
Right.
So, okay. Now, are we gonna, the Earth has one continent, Pangea, and it breaks apart in, prehistoric times, whatever, and just, Garou are stranded on the American continents, and they become black spirals? Is that what we're thinking here?
Well, I'm thinking that what if there was because again, timelines are tricky, and they're unclear, right?
Yes. Oh, highly unclear in this book.
But what if there were the Garou before all this, a heretofore unknown 17th tribe?
Wow.
And at that point, maybe it predates tribes. Maybe they predate the tribes. I mean, here's the thing about it, is you look about the War of Tears, what happened with the Bunyip. No one understood the Bunyip. They were so fucking weird. They didn't understand them. They're like, who are you? Why are you banging, where are the wolves? What's this weird Tasmanian tiger? What is that? They were just so strange in form because they were so far away. You couldn't, hop on a jet. There wasn't a moon bridge taking you to Australia.
But I think the fact that they're labeled as black spiral dancers
might just be something that was added on over the years. I mean, this is an oral tradition. Maybe it's the easiest to describe them. Maybe they were the first black spiral dancers. Maybe it was they were proto-black spiral dancers. But I'm suggesting that maybe there was another group of Garou, this extra tribe that, again, might have predated the concept of tribes.
Now, you bring up an interesting point. What if they weren't black spiral dancers? What if they weren't, say, worm corrupted? Maybe they were just different enough that they, quote, needed to be eradicated.
That we had a War of Tears .5 scenario you're suggesting?
Yeah.
That's entirely possible.
Absolutely possible. And,
And-
I didn't
hell,
even think about that shit. Good call.
And over the history and over the telling, because I mean, you tell a story to me, I tell a story to Danny. That story changes in just that.
Right.
So maybe they got labeled as Black Spiral Dancers.
Well, it's a hell of a lot easier because then we're in the right. It's like, again, this is fucking crazy talk, but this is kind of the stuff I was talking about. We're going to give you some of this crazy talk during these series.
and I forgot my tinfoil hat.
Right?
Oh, I'm
sorry.
so
I took
happy
your-
right now.
I took your moniker today, dude. Sorry.
I have a colander. We could, you know,
It's not the same.
It's really
the
not.
Great
And
Spaghetti.
it's going to kind of bounce around. It's going to pick up, so that's not going to be good. It's gonna
Yeah,
make it look crazy.
okay. Anyway.
But yeah, like I know it's crazy. It's a little bit out there. But what if?
That'd be a hell of a story. And as a storyteller, hell, golden rule that and do it.
Well, that's kind of the point. It's something that I want to add to this series is this level of speculation and but what if it's this way? And we just aren't told it because it's an oral tradition and we've all played telephone and it's always a disaster.
Yes.
It's just something that caught my eye. That there were spirals here before there should have been spirals at all.
Yeah, that's... yeah, maybe they weren't spirals, maybe...
But I mean,
And we just label them that because...
But it's also
time goes
possible-
on.
But it's also possible that they were some of the Octina or the Croton or some of the Wendigo that just fell to the worm, and that the country's so goddamn big and so wild and untamed that we just didn't know them. That's possible too, but it's far less fucking interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
it's
Mind
just the
blown.
first. I got more of these later.
It's my new favorite.
Okay. So what's our next
Well,
agenda point?
well, that was Totem.
Oh! Yay! We get the totem. Okay. So
Oh, yeah.
the totem is Wendigo.
And it used to be Sasquatch. And
Yes.
next totem point. Next bullet point. Just kidding. Neither one of those.
We're looking at Danny like he's just lost his marbles.
Like I
And,
said,
and you are too. We know that.
short-term memory loss. Sorry.
Okay. So,
Tom, I wish you were here. Save me.
Tom, don't say that.
There's no saving you or the show. I think that way we're going. Yikes.
Jesus.
Okay. So totem. It's now Wendigo.
Right, it once was Sasquatch, but before we get there, there are other totems associated with Wendigo. There's plenty of totems in Wendigo's Spirit Brood, which we didn't look up at all, because I couldn't be bothered to tell you guys about Access Mundi. But what we do have is some of the totems that are mentioned in the tribe book to talk about, and, I know you took note of some weirdness there.
One of my favorites is rabbit.
That's your favorite?
Yes.
What? Why was that your favorite?
Yeah, what's up, Doc?
Oh, but
What?
No, rabbit is a totem listed, and it actually gives them bonuses when they run away from combat.
That's super fucking weird.
For the fierce and angry warrior tribe, they're getting bonuses to run from combat?
It's sort. Now, are you sure you read it right? Are you sure it wasn't bonuses for running in combat?
No,
Like
it said,
it's a brisk jog to the enemy, so now I get a bonus stat.
Or is
Yeah,
it
no.
running in circles around them to make them dizzy?
no, it's like, peace out, home slice, I'm out of here.
But
Is that the official chant they have to do?
That would be awesome.
I somehow don't see Long Night Moon saying "Peace out, home slice."
I'd love it if they did.
But for a tribe who prides themselves on making sure they stick to the litany, to get bonuses to run away from combat when they're supposed to combat the worm,
Well, and it doesn't.
don't run away.
It's not specific about, they have to run away from worm combat. It's just any combat.
Okay, so just combat in general, but still,
Well, hold on here, Dave.
for the mighty hunter to run away from combat.
Well, it is super fucking weird. But I wanted to take a second about that litany quote in there, Johnny Philodox. Is
Johnny Philodox?
there's such a thing as a tactical retreat.
Yes,
Yeah,
So fucking
slow
Come
your
on.
roll.
I'm trying.
on.
Hey, it was a stretch.
But they also had sturgeon and caribou.
which again are not totems that I would think of when I think of the fierce,
Mighty
Yeah.
hunter.
mighty Wendigo who strikes fear in the hearts of his opponent
But
that frozen monster from,
Yeah,
fuck,
but
sturgeon, man.
but these are creatures and spirits that are indigenous to their area.
Which makes all the sense there is.
It really does.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they were included.
And yeah, that tracks completely. It just, you take a second and kind of look at that sideways going,
Yes.
yeah, mighty Wendigo. He'll tear your heart out. He will show it to you. He'll chomp on that thing. Also, rabbits here. It's a little bit of a disconnect, but I mean, what you said makes total sense.
Well, okay, so back to the totem and Wendigo and Sasquatch.
Yeah, go nuts.
Curious. If Sasquatch used to be their totem, were they still called Wendigo then?
I really hope so.
Right. That's. I mean, so do I. But like,
I have my hand raised.
I'm listening, and I don't have an answer for you, but I'll listen to
I don't
it.
think so.
So, were they Sasquatch first?
I think they were the Hendersons.
I like that. I like that. And
How dare I?
and the tribal leader, his
Was
name
Harry?
Harry.
I didn't want to say it.
No, his name was Harry. I'm sure he was really hairy. They didn't have razors.
I'm not even going there.
Not sponsored by Manscaped.com.
Please, we're not sponsored.
No, we're
Please hit
not
the donate
sponsored.
button.
We are not.
That's
sponsored.
why we need the donate button. Clicky, clicky, clicky.
And if you're on Amazon. But no, Sasquatch though, that's something that also intrigued me, and it's another one of my crazy. Fuck's this
Okay.
guy talking about the versions here, right?
Yep.
Is in the book, I mean, they say, hey, it used to be Sasquatch, and they don't elaborate on that because that'd have been,
No.
what were you called before that? What was your deal?
Yeah, and we're less interested about the Sasquatch people than we are the Wendigo people.
Well, you are. Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I was gonna say
Here
I
we go.
have a thought, and I think it's going the same line Porter's going.
Well, I think we
Danny-
talked about this earlier in the week, and
Danny
it was
has
very
a
clear you
thought.
weren't stealing my thing.
Yeah, no, I'm not stealing it, but I had an idea, and it was very close to your idea.
Precedent of you stealing people's ideas, Danny.
I'm not stealing.
We can
I'm
go back some episodes. You've stolen some answers.
short-term memory loss.
Thief. So, no, but Sasquatch, it is interesting to me because who the Wendigo are, okay, it is very closely tied to their totem,
Yes.
very closely, and I mean we're talking close like the Get and Fenris.
Right.
It's part of the fucking deal.
Yeah.
They're cold and they're bitter and they're fierce, just like Papa Wendigo.
Okay.
And before they served Sasquatch.
And cannibalistic, just like Papa Wendigo.
And we're going to get there. That's later, but we are getting there.
Oh, good.
So what were they like? It's really intriguing to me what they were like beforehand. But here's the thing. In the book it gives a couple examples. Our buddy Long Night Moon, he's like, hey, you bring this up, you're going to start a fight because everyone's got a different opinion. And then he offers a story that he believes is true. Mm-hmm. And it's a fine story. But the gist of it is that Sasquatch just evolved into Wendigo like a goddamn Pikachu. And first of all, I don't think that's how totems work.
No, I mean, we haven't
who
heard it from
knows?
any other totem ever.
That's the thing. I've never heard of an example of that happening with a totem. Maybe a Gaffling or like a lesser Jagling maybe. But a totem, that's on the other end of that Jagling scale.
Yep.
That's a bigger fucking deal. And I don't think that's how that works. I'm not saying it's impossible, but again, we're going places here. So, what the hell happened when they were crossing the Bering Strait? We're hearing about whale bears and shit.
Whale bears.
All this crazy, vague, but crazy stuff happened, and then they come out of this the Wendigo. So, okay.
And if anybody knows what a whale bear is or has a picture of a whale bear, please send it in.
Actually, I'd like to see that a lot.
Yeah.
Please do that.
Well,
Do what the lady
okay.
says.
Yes.
But then we point out again that Wendigo is a cannibal totem.
Yes.
Or he's a cannibal.
Yeah.
They follow a cannibal totem, which is slightly frowned on in the litany.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Slightly.
And I also I doubt that Sasquatch is a cannibal. It doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
Again, based on nothing.
Right.
But, seeing this cannibalism gets to litany, it feels like maybe that wasn't Gaia's first choice in terms of have a totem, guys. And I know that's not quite how it worked either. But my question is, and maybe I'm not going so far deep down a crazy person rabbit hole right here, is I think what if something happened? What if something happened during that travel to the New World? And that, I don't know what, but maybe Wendigo took over, whether forcibly or not, or something, anything could have fucking happened. But it's not so much Sasquatch turned into Wendigo. It's that, sorry, Mom's gone now. You're left with me. and
Mom's boyfriend, he's not so nice.
Right. And maybe that explains, maybe it's Wendigo's influence that makes them so goddamn ornery. Maybe there's something dark or off deep within the recesses of the ancient history of this tribe that's fucking lost. I mean, the Wendigo have plenty of reason to be pissed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 1,000%, but they just take it 9 miles too far.
They have let nothing go.
Yeah.
Zero.
I mean, Gyro can hold a grudge. That's also true.
Yeah,
but they've let
an entire
0%
tribe
of things go.
Yeah.
Even for their own good at some points. Maybe that's related.
And
Maybe there's a dark seed in the ancient history tied to Wendigo taking over that has kind of festered.
Yeah. I mean, you say dark seed and you say festered.
Yeah, I know.
And no, because when I was reading this tribe book, it seemed to me like they were 1 inch to the left of worm territory.
I could see. I can
they
see
get
that
close.
Like they are right on that edge, and it's scary.
I mean, I would. Yeah. I mean, I would say the Beast of War is probably strong with them.
They've got a lot of rights, and they got a lot of toys that can really. I mean,
it's easy to see. The thing is, I said the Beast of War, and now I'm thinking about, wow, there's the urge, and since if I can't, latch one of the one of the heads of the Hydra, if I can argue for several of them,
yeah,
I think I just accidentally made your point.
right. Yeah, I mean they're like right there. They're kind of shaking that worm's hand a little bit.
I think they're probably a little closer for their own good.
Yeah.
And again, maybe that's related.
Oh yeah.
To whatever the fuck happened between Sasquatch and Wendigo. And again, I'm not saying they're not justified for being upset, for all the what history has shown, but
yeah, I mean there's some spiritual cleansing that needs to happen.
Like on a level greater than a simple rite of cleansing, like some great wrong in their history, that maybe a return to Sasquatch, maybe that's a thing that can be written. I mean, anything can be fucking written.
Right.
Or maybe that's an avenue to look into.
Yeah.
It's all, again, crazy talk fiction time, but
and maybe Evan Hills the Past can do that.
maybe.
But
I just know that
Return to the Hendersons. Sorry, Danny.
the conspiracy theory, Danny, is just like itching and jumping for joy right now because these are fantastic and these would make for awesome stories. And yeah, we don't know this for sure. And
Oh no, we're making this
we
shit
This
up.
is just
we don't
speculation.
know anything for sure.
Yeah, I'm actively making shit up going, what if?
right, it's all speculation, but it's good and it's all relevant and based on something.
Well, and thank you. And I mean, it's something that I wanted to do with the Tribal series because, hey, if you don't like a Wendigo, why the fuck you listen to this episode? But maybe by listening to this episode, you hear some of this stuff, and it gives you an idea to do something with the Wendigo you wouldn't.
Right.
Or puts a spin on it you wouldn't have thought of, I don't know what. But that's why all of these are going to have shit like this in it.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose my fucking mind for all of the tribes.
Yes. Someone's joining me.
Yeah, we're going to have to stop calling you that.
Hey, you did it to me. I'm just taking it and running with it.
Gross.
I'm not gonna make it that's what she said joke.
I think you just did.
Yeah, you did.
So, moving on, though,
Yes.
from Totem time, and we started to talk, I mean, it's hard to not talk about the overall philosophy and temperament and all the, the minutiae of the tribe itself, and, like I said, I mean, you read the book, and there's a lot of anger. There's that level of bitterness and in that xenophobia, I guess.
Yeah.
And I mean, we all know that Garu, and I just said it like 2 minutes ago. Were you paying attention? Garu hold grudges. I just said it.
Yeah, but for an entire tribe to hold it that large of a grudge.
They have a long memory, yeah.
But, they don't even trust
Older brother.
Yeah. Their other surviving Pure One tribe, They say in that book that they have to watch over older brother.
Well, now, older brother, and that's the Actina, everybody, are a little squirrely and super creepy. So, that needs to be said.
Right.
And will be
but we've got
pushed upon later in another episode.
we've got the dudes who are angry and don't trust anybody, and they're xenophobic, and they're ready to punch everybody's face in, saying that they can't trust the squirrely, creepy dudes. It's crazy talk. It's like tinfoil hat time.
It's not super... Who trusts the Actina?
Not many.
I mean...
Other than Actina. And even then, I think a lot of them don't trust each other.
Actina have been there for these people.
I mean, yes.
1,000%.
Older brother and younger brother should probably have a better relationship. And the fact that they're fractured and they don't mix too well, it says a lot about the death of middle brother. And it's hard to talk about the Purons without talking about the Croatan. They're going to get an episode eventually.
Yes.
We can't not talk about lost tribes.
Right.
I can't not tell people why it's a bad idea to bring the White Howlers back.
But getting back to the Wendigo.
Yes. And I mean, I was still there. I just quit White Howlers thing. I can't help it. And that's in the defense that the Wendigo are kind of creepy, but you're right. They have a terrible relationship.
No, the Actina.
Did I say the Wendigo?
Yeah.
God damn it, I'm fired.
Don't fire yourself. You'll leave us with Danny.
I mean, not much of a podcast anymore.
Oof.
Okay.
I'm going to defend that. The Wendigo.
So.
Yeah, the Wendigo having a poor relationship with the Actina. It's unfortunate. You kind of get it.
I mean, there's a lot of history between them. They're brothers. Siblings fight. You get it.
Sibling rivalry is going to happen.
But to say that you can't trust your sibling,
well,
that's messed up.
But they blame them.
Oh, they
for Croatan.
Yeah, they play the blame game with little brother on themselves, on everyone else. Like they are experts at the blame game. It's crazy.
I can't. I mean, no one here can argue.
There's nothing left to argue on that one.
Blame thrown around. I mean, you're right. I will say, and this is totally just arc around that, is they have a pretty pragmatic take on Metis, though.
Okay.
I mean, they're very, if they can do the job, do the job.
And that's cool.
So I mean, there's that. They're I mean, obviously you punish the parents, but
yeah.
Whatever.
The kid can do the work, then all right.
Then put him to work.
It's something I wouldn't have expected from such a harsh tribe. There's no other way to put that.
Right.
Yeah.
I would expect that with the Get of Fenris, because that harshness, and that, well, if you could do it, fucking do it, and you're fine, is just part of their company line that's on the business card. So I expect that from them.
And it doesn't have to be a Metis, it can just be anybody.
Right. Yeah, they don't give a shit. But from the Wendigo, who are, generally distrustful and hate everyone and everything, and again are no cold and bitter and harsh and fierce, and I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, and I mean, they go after their own kinfolk even.
All the more reason them going, oh no, you can look at him, he's getting the water, he's fine. I don't care that he has 6 legs or that he drools or whatever, your deformity may be.
6 legs. I bet you he can walk really fast.
Or he trips himself a lot.
Constantly. That would be a nightmare.
But if he's lasted that long, he's probably learned how to do it.
It's like...
See, now you're putting me in a situation where I'm going to invent a history for the couple words I said at random to justify, how dare you?
And it's like a Spider-Man Metis. Has 6 legs, 2 arms.
Who said arms?
Now he doesn't have arms.
Maybe he's a lupus, and that's where the 6 legs comes from. Maybe it's just 2 extra legs. You see this rabbit hole, you piece of shit, Danny.
Boom.
Oh, he got us. You suck.
And his name's Kevin.
Now the cannibalism.
Yes.
I will not fall for this shit any further. The cannibalism. You started off on that, Joey.
Yes. I have the floor.
Take us there.
Okay. So, Wendigo is a cannibal. Apparently that affects the tribe. They have a propensity, a calling, a deep-seated urge to eat human flesh. It's like a siren song with these people, from what I can understand. It's just like, hey, I'm gonna eat Bob over there. And it's frowned on. What absolutely boggles my mind is the rite.
There's a rite for it?
Well, it's a thing that can be forgiven.
So they do the rite because they ate human flesh and all is forgiven.
Sort of.
Expand on sort of.
Please.
The rite is called the rite of second birth, and it allows certain guru, because in the book it says only Ahran can go through this, but it's done it's stated in such a way that we think it might be a typo.
I was going to bring that up, yeah.
Yeah.
It says only Ahround as a parenthetical, like 3 lines from the end of the description of the rite.
Yeah,
And it's the only place it says it. So I feel like that was probably removed in development, and then they just forgot to this parenthetical. There's like, oops, I missed that.
Right. But
It's in there.
it's in there, and when I was hot and I was having a hot take, it was like, oh yeah, the other 4 auspices can go fuck themselves.
So, according to their history, they can be forgiven with the rite, but only if you're Auron.
Yes.
If you're not an Auron,
Yes.
you can't be forgiven.
And the crazier part of all this is they undergo this rite, which is exceedingly simple.
Okay.
And they lose their rank, they lose their renown.
Well, okay, fine. I mean, I
Right.
think that's a fair trade.
Yeah,
Busted right back to Goliath.
Right. But they keep their gifts, they keep their skills,
Okay.
and they are introduced to the world as a brand new person.
So as a cub all over again.
Sort of. You know,
A cub with awesome skills.
Exactly. And this rite is only undertaken for people who have they're vital to the tribe's survival.
Okay.
And it has to be voted on, and there's a lot of politics
Which
behind
would
it.
make a little bit more sense if it was only for Auron.
And so once the rite happens, they take that worm taint and fling it into the Umbra.
Just fling it.
Fling it like baby poop.
I was going to say bubble gum, but...
And so that worm taint is cognizant.
Like
And
it
it's-
becomes sentient.
Yes. And it's in the Umbra. And it's up to the storyteller what happens. It could become a spirit thing. It could attach to somebody.
just corrupt something else.
Exactly.
That seems grossly irresponsible.
Thank you. Thank you. My hot take, I was like, what the hell are these people even
I
doing?
knew you had that in the chamber. That was just for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that's the thing about the cannibalism, though, is, they doubled down on the fact that they do not partake in cannibalism. And, like, it's right next to a box where they double down on why. But that also completely ignores the section that you're talking about where it says it out. They totally admit we sometimes do this.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
they have a hard line on it, which is nice.
They do have a hard line on it, but that hard line gets crossed.
Often.
Maybe.
In the story...
Yeah, I was going to say in the very first story, it was like, I know we're not supposed to eat the human flesh, but you are going to need to survive, so go eat your human flesh.
Misunderstood. My bad. I thought you were talking about the right.
Okay.
I apologize. So you win that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't win anything. I actually read it. I told you. just not all of it.
Yeah, and then it's something I noticed, that they maintain that it's part of the whole cannibalism thing. It's part of the company line. We're striking fear. We're being like Batman.
Yeah, yeah.
Batman didn't eat baby back ribs. But I get why they would. I get why that's the line. They actually thought it was interesting how they double down, and then they double down on the doubling down, and then like 2 pages ago, it was like, nah, we totally do this. Shit happens.
Oops.
All right.
Our bad. But we got a way to fix it.
But only if you're Outrun.
Exactly.
Which again, that feels to me like that's a mistake.
Yeah, and if we're gonna golden rule this shit.
Oh, I would totally remove that little parenthetical.
Yeah, just erase that little.
But at the same time, I don't know how often I would use that right to begin with. I love the idea that it was, the idea that it's used irresponsibly, and that sentient worm taint has taken form and becomes a fucking problem. I love that idea as a storyteller.
Yeah.
But I'd want that to be something that happened through the NPCs.
Right.
Because it seems like, we're not ringing the magic button, or ringing the magic button. That's what happens.
Yeah.
I'm a writer, everybody. I'm the writer here.
And exactly, explain to me this. How do you ring a button?
He just did. I watched
It's
him.
magic?
You grab it by the throat, and you just...
And squeeze.
Is rabbit involved?
No, but...
Well, you can't ring anything if you're
Sturgeon
running
might
away.
be.
Collection of assholes.
Now, and actually, now I'm thinking about it, I want to jump back there to, when you go on the potential darkness of the tribe, is, it's talking about this, and, the taint giving form, it made me think of false Wendigo. Mm-hmm. Which, if memory serves, that comes out of Ways of the Wolf.
Okay.
But I might be talking out of my ass on this one.
So write in if he is.
I'll hear about it. I'll take that.
Deservingly so.
Yeah, I can soak it. It's fine. But I think that came out of Ways of the Wolf. But, false Wendigo, the idea, you're visiting in a dream, and, these things happen, and it's like, hey, I'm Wendigo, I want to be your personal totem. And you're like, cool, you're the Ginchiest. And then, what happens is it's not Wendigo, but it's false Wendigo. And he slowly corrupts you. And, you ultimately become this kind of skinless ice monster.
Yes.
It's bad news bears. Like, you can only cure it after a certain point. It's one of those things that I'd love to do to my players, but then I know that there's a 90% chance that character's done, so I won't do it.
Right.
It's like a dick move. You'd be like, oh man, well, you gotta cure me.
I would be like, oops,
Oh,
too
we gotta cure
late.
Danny. Nope, it's too late. Just rip up that sheath. There's nothing that can be done at this point.
I mean, it sounds like a cool idea, but then...
Exactly.
But then it's not.
It's such a small chance of it working, is what you're saying, as far as getting cured?
No, I mean, there's a point to where it can't be cured anymore.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
it's like
Jesus.
shortly after you start showing symptoms.
It's a very small window.
It's a very small window.
Oh, man.
So, it's kind of, this is a great way to kill someone because you don't like them too well. But maybe false Wendigo isn't so false and is just another aspect of Wendigo.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense because,
Another conspiracy theory?
It just came to me. But,
Yeah. But, can we move on to toys?
Check, please.
No,
Man.
Yes, we can.
there's things that I did like in this book.
Yeah.
And there are positive things that this tribe has. They've got the wild rice. And that's a fetish. And it can increase a garu's chance of breeding true.
Interesting.
That's pretty fresh.
Yeah. So it helps keep the tribe going into the future for
helps
however
keep the
long we
nation
have in
going.
the future.
However much future is left.
Yeah.
Right.
But so that's a cool thing. That's pretty neat.
Well, you know why we're on it. I have a unnatural and ridiculous love for the ghost shirt.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and I even fuck the stats, even all that. Just the aesthetic is super goddamn cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I read that and I was like, oh, here it is.
Yeah, like I just have this unnatural fucking. Oh, it's super neat.
And I mean, they have the partridge wing. And on one of my phone calls to you when I was getting hot, I was like, they have this thing and it's a partridge wing. And you spin it over your head and you think about a memory you want to remove from your brain.
Wow, that could do so many things.
And you can use it on other people.
Oh.
And you can use it on other guru. Think of how wrong that could go.
Oh, yeah.
But in the book, they talk about, like, a human who's, like, melting down. And you can remove the memory of them seeing a werewolf. So you can correct a veil breach with that.
Yeah.
So that is awesome.
Porter's
Porter has
got
his hand raised.
Not for nothing, but a hammer'd do that too.
Electroshock therapy when I get any closer, further, what?
I'm just saying, it's a little more practical.
It's a lot more practical. But
I mean, you can just get a hammer.
But again, the partridge wing, you don't have a dead body to get rid of.
Well, maybe he's hungry.
Oh,
shit.
cheap shot. Jesus Christ.
That was just in my heart, too. I'm sorry. Thank you. They do some cool shit in their arsenal for sure.
Yeah.
Like I kind of like Ice Echo. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a baby version of Shadow Pack.
Yeah.
Which is an unfair comparison, but there it is. Or was it Devouring Rhine, where it freezes the enemy.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Ice Touch kind of,
It's interesting.
It's like freeze tag when we were in grade school.
Only more fatal?
Worse.
Fatal, yes. Tag, you're frozen. Wait for it. Here's your heart.
And then there was it the Balance of Wormwood? You talk about the Rite of Second Birth. Mm-hmm. And I read about the Balance of Wormwood, which, just to give you the fucking Cliff's Notes version, it's like a temporary cleansing of fallen Garu of Wormtaint.
Okay.
And not necessarily fall into the worm, but I mean, like, we're talking this shit will work on black spirals.
Mm-hmm.
This will work on, And it intrigued me. I thought it was interesting because it fell in line with, some of those rites, like the Rite of Second Birth, where it just kind of passes the buck on Wormtaint.
Right.
And that's a little suspicious to me at that point. Mm-hmm. When you put those two kind of together and go, well, you have some multiple avenues of just getting Wormtaint to kind of fuck off.
Down the street and attached to somebody else.
Right. And I mean, in this case, Wormwood it's temporary.
Yeah.
So,
it's coming back.
Right. But it seems odd. And like, I would have attributed that shit more to the Actina, honestly.
Yeah.
But here it is. And again, maybe that feeds back to my conspiracy shit before. I don't know what, but...
I don't know. But, like, this tribe, they've got a lot of tricks up their sleeve that are just the side of wormy.
A little suspicious.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say suspicious is the word.
And, it's not like there's a tribe with clean hands out there.
No.
But
there are levels to this onion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's levels to the onion. I feel better now. I feel better about the ringing the button thing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I guess finally, what do we do with all of this?
Well, I'm not going to play one, that's for darn sure. That's what I'm going to do with it.
Yeah, it's definitely not my style.
I mean, that's fair. I got to say, I personally I wouldn't recommend the book, or rather the textbook Wendigo, rather,
right,
as is shown in the book.
Yeah.
To clarify that.
Yeah, there's no way.
Our buddy, Long Night Moon is just, he's not the spokesperson.
He
shouldn't be.
Yeah. With what he presents, I think it's just kind of a bummer. Like being a Wendigo to me, he goes,
mm-hmm.
This is a huge bummer. They just seem, they're petty and they're miserable. They just kind of hate everything. And I see that as a player getting old just really fucking quickly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So...
And I mean, not being able to work with anybody, that takes the multi-tribal pack kind of right off that table.
Well, not necessarily, but it makes him being there a miserable experience.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Nobody else wants to deal with that kind of character.
Right. You know, and I mean, that could make for some interesting role-playing. For a while.
Right. It's
'Cause that shit's
short
gonna get
term.
old.
They're very
Yeah.
short-lived for that.
You know, I mean, I think, if it were me, I'd probably lean Galliard or Thurge with him
Okay.
to try to make a character more interested in learning and moving on from the past.
Right.
Based on, you know, what's presented. You know, just someone with the wisdom and perspective to go, well, we can't really get by making 11 other tribes the enemy.
Well, 11 other tribes, humans, kinfolk,
Whatever's
spirits.
left of the Farah.
You know, I mean, it's like everybody and everything.
You know, I will say, maybe this is a little bit unrelated though, but something.
Okay.
It just kind of slipped my mind until right here. Is that something I really liked about this book though? Is that they name shit.
Okay.
You know, you hear them go through their history, and they name heroes. They name locations and like cairns and seps and shit. You know, you hear the ancient Pakagaru. You hear what their names are. Rites are described in this book.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, you guys have any idea how many fucking rites out there? They're just like, roll the dice, fuckhead.
Yes.
It's like half the rites in the book, or in the game, don't have descriptions. You know, it was something that Jessica, in fact, that I had a problem with. You know, learning to be a third. She's like, you know, what do I do to enact the rite?
And you're
then
like,
you look
I
at
don't
the-
know.
Yeah, you look at the book, and the book's like, whatever, shut up.
Yeah. Roll this amount of dice. She goes, well,
Yeah, but
how do
what
I?
does that-
Yeah,
yeah,
how
what
do I
does that do?
act that out?
Yeah. In the book's just a picture of a middle finger there. And just so I really appreciated that the rites were detailed and what it fucking entails.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
again, this is
Yeah.
a game where show don't tell.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Ring
well-
that button.
Nice.
Oh, fuck.
So with the rites and the locations and all their names, to me that just tells me that history is a very large part of this tribe and how much their history means to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, that can be a good thing. Just,
Right.
Just don't get bogged down by it, and don't let it, predict your future.
right, and that is kind of, they got kind of, I think they're too wrapped up in their own past and in the raw deals they were given, that they're not getting out from under that and doing
Right.
something better.
Yeah.
Or all of that's true, but also this inherent darkness inside the tribe because of the transition from Sasquatch to Wendigo. Because
Hey,
I'm leaning into this weird shit. Mm-hmm. But
do we want to go to the corner?
I think I'm ready, Danny.
You're gonna send me to the corner again?
No.
Go to the Cubs quarters.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. I
And that is
swept,
young. Watch your shit.
I swept the rice up. You're fine.
Was it wild rice?
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
You might be pregnant, Danny.
That's odd. But I'll check when I get
What do you
home.
got from the corner?
Okay, so our first Cubs Corners question. As a new storyteller, help.
Help? Question mark?
Hey, it was actually a question mark exclamation point combo.
Well,
Okay.
oh, okay.
Are there sources for story ideas or pre-made adventures to help me?
Well, yes. You know, I'm not a huge fan of book games, but they exist, you know, and for me, I like to take stuff out of them and make it my own. But you have books like Rite of Passage, and that's probably where you want to start as a beginning storyteller. But there's shit like Rage New York, the Valkenburg Foundation, Past Live, which maybe is a bit...
Heavy.
Don't do that yet, you're new. But there, you know, there are games like that. And also, you know, you read those and you can run several stories. You know, there's a mini, little baby chronicle in those.
Okay.
You can run like a decent arc. I won't say chronicle.
Okay.
You know, each one of those. Rage Across the Heavens. Don't do that one either. That's too big for you. But
Maybe wait a little bit.
you wait a little bit. You got to establish a thing before you break everything.
Wow,
Fair
yeah, that's a good
enough.
way to put it.
But also pick up the storyteller guides.
Okay.
Storyteller Book 2, Storyteller Book 3. The Storyteller's Handbook, to be clear, second edition and revised. I think those are both good resources, and I think there's enough differences in them that you can get something out of both of them. And that's going to help you with writing a chronicle, setting up your themes, The length of how long you want to run games, how many stories. It's going to give you tips on feedback, getting feedback and using it. It's going to help establish themes and moods. It's a very important resource, and check those out.
Okay. And for our second Cubs Corner question,
Jesus, getting greedy.
do tribes intermingle?
Yes. Good night, everybody.
I'm sure they do.
I mean, yeah. There are... I'm going to use the word countless, and that's going to sound like, because there's so many cairns everywhere. But, because the nation doesn't take a fucking census, is really why. But there are plenty of, multi-tribal seps, cairns out there. A sept and a cairn are not the same thing.
Mm-hmm. We'll cover that in a different Cubs Corner.
Exactly. But there are so many of those out there that, of course, they intermingle.
Okay.
There's a few... I'd say there are far few tribe-specific seps out there. Mm-hmm. And frankly, there's just not the numbers.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah, they have to keep going.
Hey, you take what you can fucking get, man.
All right, so question for you.
Oh, God damn it, Danny.
Hold on, this is the quick one, and I might already have the answer, but say a Fianna Garu and a Geta Fenris kinfolk have a baby, and it ends up being Garu. Is that now a Geta Fenris, or is it a Fianna?
Well, it's nothing until they're taken in by a tribal totem. So maybe that's a Black Fury, asshole.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They have to be chosen by a tribe. They basically have to apply.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's personally, I don't like to run it that way. And there's nothing wrong with it, but...
Well, one of my characters in her write-up
was rejected.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, she was a Black Fury. Her mother was a Black Fury.
Yes.
She was taken to Greece. You're going to be a Black Fury too, and
they said nope.
Nope.
You're not good enough for us.
Pegasus, want to get this bitch out of here. Who is this? So you don't know until it's time. But I generally don't like the apply. To use that word, like,
right.
You apply to it, because I get this image of, like, fucking career day in high school.
You petition. You petition.
Yeah. You go before the totem, and the totem, and that's a larger thing, but the totem will decide if you're good enough, if you pass the muster. I generally like it more on the lines of bloodlines. There's the idea that, you're a legacy, you'll get in, that's fine.
Until you don't.
Until you don't. But again, it's when I hear that, you try out for the tribe and apply to it, I get that career day image. But, where you put you get the, damn it, who put the Geta Fenris stall next to the Black Fury stall? You got a bone gnawer sitting there next to the garbage, he's looking for dinner, going, hey, join the bone gnawers over here, we got the apple cores. And it's just suddenly everything is silly.
But yeah, no, that character who was rejected by Pegasus ended up becoming a Geta Fenris.
It's a true story.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, you never know how it's going to go.
So there's your question, sir.
But hey, it was just a curiosity.
No, I'm just busting your balls, so it's fine.
Okay.
That's the solid Cubs Corner question.
So, now that we've got Cubs Corner out of the way, let's tell them how they can contact us.
Well, you can contact us through Facebook. And if you're doing that, you're going to get a hold of me. Mm-hmm. And that's right across the internet.
Yep.
If you want to talk to producer Joey.
Twitter.
Yeah, and that's going to be at RageAcross.
Yes.
And that's fun. If you want to talk to Danny, or either one of us.
Yeah, we're all.
You can go to our website and hit us up on the forums.
Yes, do that.
And Danny, where is that? Where do we find it?
www.ragecrosstheinternet.com. .com.
I will never get tired of doing that. I'm so sorry.
Come on, Joey. You missed the echo. Come on.
The echo.
Yeah, that's... Come on.
Oops.
Come to our website. Help us build a thing. Help us build a community. Thank you for tuning in as always, because it means the world to us.
Thank you, everybody. This has been such a huge blessing for us. Like, this podcast means a lot. And full disclaimer, we haven't had our game since like February, and I'm missing it so much. And this podcast has helped, at the very least, me keep this going. And this is a lot of fun to bring to you guys. So thank you. And we'd love to keep going.
We're going to keep going.
We'd like for you to be with us.
Exactly.
Yes. And, if you can help support us to make it a little more economically viable,
Yeah.
would be really great. But, again, like Danny said, thank you all so much. And we hope you enjoyed this show and this new format and this jackassery. And we will see you next week. Take care. Be excellent to each other.
Rage Across the Internet's music is It's Into the Fog by Darren Curtis, shared with a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 unported license. For details, check out the information under the podcast.